So I was like kind of worried, how would people perceive me? Like, can she even run? It's just things like that go through your head. But I know that's not the case. But like at the time, I used to feel like, oh no, I'm going to be the only person there with my hijab on, and people are just going to judge me. I just want to push myself further and further and see what my body can achieve. If you think that you can't do it, then you're not going to do it. You got to start believing in yourself. That's like one of like the proudest moments of my life, really. Honestly, I would never think like a person like me like could even get like in the middle pages, let alone in the front cover. Hi, my name is Rahema, and I'm a mother of 3 girls, and I'm a runner.
Rahema, I wanted to start by just going back to the start of your running journey, really. Like you said, you're a mother of 3 and you're a runner. Where did being a runner first come into your life, I guess?
I guess it started quite late. Growing up, I was not a very like athletic or a very active child, or even like in my teens, I've never really been very active. I took up running at the end of 2018. I just saw like on our local Facebook group, there's like a Couch to 5K, and I was like, oh, why not give it a go? What's the harm? I'll just go along and see what it's like. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. At the end of it, like we did our first 5K in a park run, and I just got the running bug, I guess.
From that first 5K to where you are now, because look, you've taken the step up to the 10K, the half marathon, the marathon, and even like a 50K. When you move on to that next distance, do you still get the same feeling as when you first went to that first event? Like, do you still get that same excitement, that same buzz?
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's just so exciting, isn't it? Like I just want to push myself further and further and see what my body can achieve. Because I don't look like an athletic person. Like if you look at my Instagram, I just look like a regular older woman, I guess. And I don't look like what a runner looks like, if you know what I mean. So I guess, when I'm entering, these races, like I'm doing them so people can see that it's possible for anyone. Like it doesn't matter what shape, size you are, you can actually take part. So I'm not really bothered about times or anything, just going out there, giving my best shot and just having fun.
I think that's such an important message as well, because everybody runs the same distance, don't they? Whatever the time, whatever the reason, everyone's still running the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, the ultra marathon. Do you feel that community vibe, I guess, within these races?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my first, the first time I felt that was when I did my first 5K at the end of my Couch to 5K. It was at a park run, and it was like the first Saturday of the new year. And it was very, very busy. And I've never run like outside with so many people. Our Couch to 5K group was quite small. So it was quite nervous, and I was really worried. But like, it was so nice. Like everybody, like, all the ones who had finished before, they just kept cheering and saying, well done. And like at the end of it, I felt so proud of myself. And that's when I decided, like that day when I got home, I'm going to sign up for a 10K race. Ended up signing up for a 10K and a half marathon as soon as I got home, just after a 5K. Just because I loved, like, the whole vibe, how everybody, like all runners were so inclusive. I didn't feel like I wasn't part of, like, I felt like I was a runner, if that makes sense. It didn't make me feel like I didn't belong. So yeah, and I'm glad I did.
Were you worried about that then? Were you worried about feeling
Yeah,
like you didn't belong?
definitely. Like, especially like being of like South Asian background, you don't see like many women, especially like in hijab as well. Like, I don't know anyone like in my area, or even like in social media at the time, who was running or who was a runner. So, so I was like kind of worried, how would people perceive me? Like, can she even run? It's just things like that go through your head. But I know that's not the case. But like at the time, I used to feel like, oh no, I'm going to be the only person there with my hijab on, and people are just going to judge me. But that's not the case. Like, all runners are so, so friendly.
Everybody's in the same boat, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everybody is doing the same distance, or, running to complete a race, and it doesn't really matter who you are, where you're from, what experience you've got. Everyone's in that same boat. Do you think that's why there is never that judgment?
Yeah, definitely. Because like running is hard. Like, it's not easy. Even if you're doing an easy run, like, it's hard sometimes. So I guess like we can all relate, we
Yeah.
can relate with each other. And I suppose like, we're always cheering each other on. So yes, like, even if somebody's going, back of pack runners, they're still working hard. Or if you're right at the front and you going really fast, like, it's amazing. But like, it's all the same. Like, it's hard. Everybody's heart is different. But yeah, I think we can kind of like relate as runners with each other.
I know you mentioned earlier on in this conversation about your three kids. What was their kind of thoughts about it when you first started running? Because obviously running is a very individual thing. It's for you, but did
Yeah,
they say, "Mum, why are you going to do this?" Or was it like being super proud about it?
they did. Because like at the time, they were a bit younger, like, so they're like in the early teens. And or just younger than that as well, actually. At 2018, the end of 2018, that's when I started running. They were really proud of me. They did think like, oh my gosh, how can you go running? But one of my other reasons for doing this is because I want to inspire them to be more active. Because growing up, we didn't have a very active lifestyle. And I just thought if I can show them that, like, your mom, like, this is what I look like, and I can go and do hard things, then so can they.
Why wasn't the years, you say like growing up, you weren't very active. Was there reasoning behind that, or was it kind of just like the family situation you're in, or what was that reasoning?
I think it's also like, the culture, girls are not really encouraged to be active. So it came from a culture like, where it's like, oh, why do you want to go and run outside? What are you going to wear? Like what you wear, like, it's also like makes a big impact. As a girl, like, you got to make sure like I wear something that's modest when I'm out running. So there's lots of other factors as well. But I think like, kind of like just embrace it and just make it work.
When you were on the front cover, and I want to get you
Yeah.
to tell me this story because I'm excited about this. You were on the front cover of Women's Running, and tell me why that was special. And I guess first, let's hear about being approached. Like, I want to hear this
Yeah.
whole story when we were approached, and then we'll get on to why that was special in a moment.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's like one of like the proudest moments um, of my life. Really, honestly, I would never think like a person like me like could even get like in the middle pages, let alone in the front cover of a women's running magazine. But I got approached by Women's Running through Brooks because I'm also a Brooks ambassador. So they were doing a feature and they asked me if I would like to be on the cover, um, just to share my journey, And I just thought at the time I was like, oh no, I cannot do this. I don't look the part. I don't look slim enough or whatever. Like, all those things that go through your head because I do battle with like body confidence as well. So I was like really worried. But then I was like, but this is also an opportunity to share other people like me, like other women that, it doesn't matter what you look like. If you're a runner, if you run, you're a runner. Um, so yes, I said, yeah, okay, go on then, I'll do this. And it was so out of my comfort zone. Honestly, I was like, for weeks before like the photo shoot, I was like every day I was like getting so worried and like had to keep canceling because of the weather. The photo shoot was actually like in October, and I was thinking, oh no, the weather is so bad, and how am I going to do this? And then like, writing up, having the phone conversation, like the interview, I guess. That
Yeah.
was really like a bit worried, but it was all fine at the end. It was just like a chat, talk about my journey into running, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. And when I got the magazine, when I saw it, I was just like overwhelmed with so much emotion, so much like I was feeling so proud of myself. My girls were so proud of me, like my whole family. And even like strangers like would message me and say, oh my gosh, like, it's so nice to see somebody who is normal. And I was like, wow, I just didn't think that. So it was nice to feel that love, and it's so much more inclusivity again. Because you think you won't be accepted, in a magazine. But yeah, it was really, really good.
And you were first on the front cover as well.
Was, yes. So there hasn't been a hijabi woman on the cover of Women's Running magazine yet. So that felt even extra special.
And
Yeah.
like you say, like maybe worrying about it for those leading weeks when you were thinking about it actually happening, and that being something that was like kind of weighing on you, I guess, to then get that acceptance, get that not just acceptance, but very, very positive feedback.
Yeah.
What was that like? Like, how did that feel?
Yeah, that was really good because I was worried. It's hard enough, being a person that you're a woman, you don't exactly look like an athletic build, and then on top of that, I'm from a South Asian background, so I'm brown, and I wear a hijab, so I've got everything against me, I guess. So I was really worried, thinking about people are going to say, oh, she doesn't look like a runner, why is she on the cover, or things like that. But actually, I never got any negative feedback. Everything that I got was really, really positive. And I'm so glad that I've done that, because that means I can inspire more women like me to go out there and just get on the starting line, because if we don't enter races, then if you don't see people like us, it's just going to keep carrying on. So the more we enter races, the better it is, I guess, when people see us and say that we can also do hard things.
I think it's probably weird to hear this, but you're obviously someone that's inspiring a lot of other people, and I know you probably from the inside don't think about that because you're you, and
Yeah.
you still have these anxieties and you still have these worries like everybody does, but you are out there and you are putting yourself out there and you are on the front covers of these magazines and you are sharing your story on social, and by doing all of that you are going to be inspiring other people from similar backgrounds. How is that like for you to sort of hear that and know that, but kind of maybe not dwell on it too much, but how does it feel that you are inspiring these other people?
I guess I'm just trying to think, because I don't see people like me, I'm like, if I don't put myself out there, then other people will be feeling exactly the same way. And I know sometimes it's really hard, to share your journey or your emotions on social media. But, there's a lot of people who can relate. And I guess I'm making it accessible to others, if they're feeling the same way, or women who too scared to go out and run. Just to say it's okay, just me, average woman, can do it, so can you. And also for my girls, I want them to grow up to be really independent and strong and fierce, and know that they can do anything. And that's my main motivation, so I put myself out there just so I can show them okay, if my mom can do this, then maybe I can too. It's really hard, growing up nowadays, isn't it? Especially as teenage girls, with all the social media on how you have to look a certain way or, behave a certain way. So just show them that you can be yourself and you still be successful. That's really important.
In those moments where maybe you are doubting yourself, because I'm sure you still have them.
Yeah.
Where do you is that what you think of? Do you think of your girls? Do you think about inspiring them in the future, or is it something else?
No, definitely. I always think imagine if that's them in that position, because it is hard, not to compare yourself sometimes to others. But then I feel if I keep doing that, then I'm going to show the girls that, oh, it's okay to compare yourself to others. So I try to think in my head, okay, I got to step out of this and make sure that, I'm happy with where I am, but also show them that it doesn't matter what you look like, you can be happy. And I think happiness comes from within, isn't it? So if I show that I'm happy, then yeah, they'll also be, more happier, I guess. It's not happy mom and happy children, hopefully.
From 2018 to kind of where we are now, have you seen other people from similar backgrounds getting into running along your journey, and what's that been like for you to see people and other people like yourself on those start lines?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Soon after, like I did my Couch to 5K, I also like trying to become like a run leader because I wanted to inspire more women. Because like a lot of them were saying, "Oh, I'd love to run, but I don't feel comfortable with the run leaders." So I just thought, you know what, I'll do the course and then help more women like that. So it's been really great to see so many of them take on their journeys. A lot of them are still running. And I've also like inspired like my one of my kids, like my oldest daughter, like she's also going to be joining me for her first race next year. Like so,
Oh,
she's
wow.
only around 5K, but I've managed to rope her in to do an ultra, an ultra marathon with me next year. So I guess that'll be like the proudest moment as well when she completes that with me. Yeah, it's so nice. Like even if somebody's just going out for a run, 2K or 3K, I find this, I'm like so happy for them because I know how hard it can be to put yourself out there. So even if you don't enter races, just stepping out of the door, that's like the hardest part. And like when somebody comes out, they text me or something like, "Oh, I've just been out for a run." And I'm like, "Yay, well done." It's so good. It makes you feel so good.
That moment, running that race with your daughter, I'm sure you've been thinking forward to that a lot already. What do you think it's going to be like when you cross the line together? That is going to be one of the most proudest moments
I
ever, right?
hope so. Yeah. Like, I don't even know how I roped her into that. But like we're like so excited. I know she loves like hiking, and I did say to her like, "Oh, this would be really good. Like if you love hiking, you're gonna love an ultra because it's all trails, and it's just like a picnic, and you just eat along the way, you run a bit, you walk a bit, and yeah, I just cannot wait because I've done it this year, the same race. So I think I kind of know what to expect, and to do it again next year, but with her, it'll be amazing. And I've also got like a group of other friends who've decided to join. So it'll be really, really nice to see so many of us together and just crossing that finish line. Yeah, cannot
Is
wait.
it She Ultra you're doing, is it?
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
She Ultra.
So I know Hugh quite well from the Pentline Ultras. I've done the 75 up there before. And yeah, if you listen to this and you don't know about it, She Ultra is a female only ultra marathon, and that must, from where you've come from and kind of like why you got into running and what you're doing to inspire the other people, other women and other women from backgrounds similar to yours as well. Running a female only ultra marathon like that must have felt very special this year. And then, like you say, to go back and do it again next year, you kind of know what's coming. There is a rise of these sort of female only races. We did one at RunThrough as well.
Mm.
What do you think? What do you think they do, and how can they benefit people trying to get into the running space?
I think it's amazing, to have women only, because like a lot of women are so worried about getting into running and to enter races. It is quite intimidating, to have like a lot of men, or you like, especially like in the ultra races, there's a lot more men than women. So to have like a women only, you feel safe. Um, you know, it, it's just a nice environment as well. Like, no, there's nothing wrong with having mixed races. That's fine. But like for newer runners or maybe women who are not very confident at entering races, I think the women only is a great start, so they can feel what it's like, and then maybe later on they can enter mixed races. But a lot of my friends who are doing the ultra next year with me, some of them are runners already. Or like my daughter who only does 5K. I said only, it's not only just 5K, she runs 5K every couple of months. But I guess it'll be like, I think that's a good race to enter, women only, so she'll feel safe and comfortable. I think that's really important, like the safety aspect of it, really, as a woman.
Just talk me through those sort of safety aspects that you do consider when you're going out on runs. From a man's point of view, I can't speak on them, but it would be good to hear from you about it.
Yeah, definitely. I always think if I can't just open the door and just get out of my house and start running. Like before every single run, I'm always thinking, like the night before, I'll be thinking, okay, where am I going to run tomorrow? Where am I going to go? I do tend to stick to the same kind of similar routes because I feel safe and comfortable because I've done them so often. And, I just I know, like, I'm going to be fine. I also always carry like a personal alarm with me. Like, I know, like, I shouldn't have to, but like, you feel like you need to just in case if something happens, because it's hard enough being a woman, but being a woman of an ethnic minority, it just makes it harder. Sometimes you do get people, like, not very often, like when I first started running, you would get people like, when I used to run on the streets, horn, beep the horn, or just call out names or whatever. So I tend to not run like on public places, if that makes sense, because I feel safer in maybe along the canals or in a park where it's not very busy times. So, I tend to choose times where it's not so busy, where I can run. And I shouldn't have to do that as a woman. I should just be able to just go and just run wherever I want to and whatever time I want to. But yeah, it's not always as easy as that.
Did that ever, at the start of your journey, did that ever put you off and make you think, I don't want to, I might not want to do this, because you're putting yourself in a position where that might happen?
I guess, like in the beginning, I did. I came home and I'll be in tears, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to prove them that I'm so much better than that. So I'm kind of like stubborn as well. So I'm like, okay, you just call me a fatty or whatever, and I'm just going to show you that this fatty can run. Like, you don't know my story, you don't know my journey. So like, kind of like spurs me on, and it gives me more motivation. So yeah, like, yeah, just like I tend to not let the negative comments phase me, and just like turn it to positive.
And that speaks more about anybody that is saying, whatever they're saying, like, that speaks more about them than it does about you, doesn't it? And being out there and doing it and bettering yourself. And like you say, they don't know your story, they don't know where you've come from and kind of why you're there. For anybody that, because there might be a lot of people listening to this right now that are feeling like that anxiety about stepping out the door, that worry about, getting out the door. And I'm sure those things that you still feel sometimes as well. Like, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, just do it. Honestly, once I know that first initial gut feeling is like a really, really scary thing to do. A lot of times, like, I find it like, for me, what works is like if I get in my car and I drive somewhere else, somewhere where I don't know anyone, that kind of like makes me feel better. But I know it's not always possible, like, to do that. But like, if you can, like, try to go out with a friend or join in a running club. I think that's been like one of the best things I've done, to join a running club. So like, you've got people to run with, so you're not always running on your own, and you make new friends through that. But if you have to run solo, just like, start off with just like walking maybe, because I do that quite a lot. Like, I'll go off and I know I have to run, but I'll go and walk for a bit. And then like, you feel a bit more confident, then you're like, okay, I'm just going to try to run a little bit, like run for a minute or so. And like, once you start running, you're just like, do you know what? I'm just going to carry on now. I just want to get home. so yeah, just, just do it. Because like, when you, at the end of it, you're going to feel good. I've never had like a run where I felt like crappy afterwards. You always feel so good. Okay, it might be hard, but at the end of it, you feel proud. Yeah, you just feel so good about yourself, and you can just say, yeah, I've just done that.
Talking about like groups of people, you mentioned obviously running clubs there, but you're part of a collective with Brooks. Yeah. How did that first come about? And you're surrounded by a lot of amazing people in that collective as well. That must be quite special.
Oh, definitely. Like, the first year, like, before I got selected, I was just like over the moon. I just did not think that they would select somebody like me. So when I got that phone call, I was like so excited for days afterwards. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. But it's been like really great. I've met amazing people through it. Like, the runners, that we're all like from different backgrounds, but we all like, we're so different, but we also sort of share the same values. We're also supportive of each other. We all love running, so it's so nice, like, in the collective, that there's people who like super fast runners, and there's like middle of the pack and back of the pack. It doesn't matter if you're road or trail runner, but we all share like, the same values. We all love running, and we love talking about running. We love telling everyone, like, to run. But yeah, it's been really, really a privilege to be part of the collective, the Brooks Running Collective. It honestly has. And I've made like some really good friends, and I've had some amazing opportunities throughout as well.
You mentioned kind of values there. What do you think are those values that we all hold as runners?
Yeah, I think like, it's helping each other out, like we all care about each other's running journey, I guess. Like, it's not like a competition with us. Like, we know we're all different. And it's just like, making sure like, I guess like we all, that passion that we have for running and like just helping each other, just being really supportive. We all have like good days and bad days with running, just being there for each other. That really helps as well. That a lot of them have got so much knowledge and experience of running, so it's always good to have someone, at the other end, like if you have any questions, like just to ask them for advice or anything like that. But yeah, just like the love for running, I guess, and we're not like, it doesn't matter. Like I honestly thought like I would have to be like a super like fast, speedy runner to be a part of the collective. But honestly, it's been so inclusive, and they welcome everyone, which is really nice. So it's nice to see like a wide range of people, just sharing what we love, just running.
And that's so important, isn't it? And I think kind of we've spoken on it a couple of times during this conversation already. The feeling that it doesn't really matter what your background is, what your pace is, what your gender is. You're all still runners. Everyone is still a runner, and that message is incredibly important, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like, the more we put ourselves out there, like, everyone, no matter what background you're from, like, you can relate to everybody else who's probably sat at home thinking they can't do it. So, yeah, like, it doesn't matter, like, you don't know how many people you're inspiring. Like, not all of them are going to text you or message you and say you're inspiring them. Like, they're probably watching you, and like, they're probably thinking, do you know what? If this person can do it, maybe I can do it. So definitely, like, just give it a go. Yeah, what's always going to happen,
Well, exactly. And looking forward now, you've obviously got that ultra next year with your daughter, which is incredible. Do you have other running goals, or how do you kind of work them? Because some people do time goals, some people do distance goals, some people do race goals, and some people don't have goals, they just want to run. Where do you kind of lie?
Well, this year I was like saying, oh, I'm just going to concentrate on a half marathon. And then I got that amazing opportunity with She Ultra. So I did the ultra marathon. So that's out of the way now. And for the rest of the year, I've just got one more half marathon in September. And then I'm just doing 10Ks. I am trying to do like, I know I said I'm not bothered about times, but I am like, I want to improve myself. I don't want to be doing like long distance all the time. I think like after next year, I'll take like a little break from like, because I feel like I've done like for the past, like every year, I think since 2021, I've been doing like a marathon or an ultra. So I feel like my body hasn't had any rest. I know people do loads like back-to-back marathons, but I feel like, yeah, that's not me. I'd like to concentrate on the shorter distances like 5 and 10Ks, where I'm not spending so much time training. You can just go out and just run, because that training is the hardest part, really, isn't it? Like all those weeks that you're just spending out there, long runs. And when you're like a slower runner like me, it just takes that much longer to do your training. So yes, I think like I don't really have any goals, like running goals. I'd love to do like another race abroad, I guess, or park runs. I love park runs as well. My goal this year was to finish the A to Z of park run. So I've only got 2 letters to go. So hopefully by the end of this year, I can complete that. And yeah, just keep running, really. Just keep running because I love running. I love park running. So yeah, just keep going with that, I guess.
That's an amazing thing to have achieved, or nearly achieved. But I've got no doubt you'll get there. It's really interesting you say about kind of mention about training there too, because you've obviously got a very busy life. you know, you love running, you're also a mum of 3, there's everything that comes with that too. How do you manage to get it all in when you are training for a marathon or an ultra marathon? Because that must be quite difficult.
It is quite difficult, but I guess like I stopped working at the end of last year, so I feel like this year I've got like loads of time with my hands, but not really,
Yeah.
because I don't know where my time goes. So I feel like I've got more time now. But it's just like time just flies, you know. I've got myself a kitten as well to keep me more occupied. But yeah, like you know, this year is like I've been trying to like focus on myself. I feel like I've given a lot to community and to others, and like my goal was like, and I'm very very lucky to be able to stay at home and focus on myself, focus on my mental health, my physical health, and just like you know, just slow down a bit, I guess. Yeah.
And do you feel like you're in a better space having done that?
Yeah, definitely. And I hope I can carry on for a bit longer. Because, yeah, even though I'm only doing like a half marathon, it's still like I'm training for it because I want to get to, I want to get like a really good time for me. And it just seems like all my time, like, you know, my long runs are like 2 hours. And I'm like, how's that even possible? Like when yeah, I'm so close to that distance. But yeah, it's just, I feel like, yeah, I feel like um, more positive, you know, and sometimes you just need that time for yourself, I guess.
If somebody's listening to this, and I think we'll finish with this because I think it's a nice place to finish, and for whatever reason they're thinking to themselves, you know, I can't run. What would be your advice to those specific people thinking I can't do it?
I think my advice would be, yes, you can. Definitely you can, you know. Don't think negative, you know, think positive. Like, you know, there's nothing that we can't do. If you think that you can't do it, then you're not going to do it. You know, you got to start believing in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then who else is going to believe in you? So just think like, I can do it. You know, I'm going to try and do it. Like, even if you go out and run, I'm not going to say 1 minute, 30 seconds is hard enough if you've never run. You know, just try for 30 seconds and then walk for a bit and then try again. And then just keep doing that. Eventually, like you'll increase like the distance, like the time you're on your feet running. And you're going to feel amazing. Honestly, 30 seconds of running for the first time when I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, I just ran 30 seconds, you know? And I felt so proud of myself. Just go and do it. Honestly, there's nothing to lose. You know, you're just going to end up feeling so good. We all feel good at the end of a run. You know, those endorphins are really high. You know, the rest of your day, you're going to be feeling proud of yourself. Honestly, just go out and just do it.